Mr. Brahma, would you like to add to that? I mean, the three major ways in which AI and automation can impact organizational growth.
No, absolutely, Rodra can do that. And in fact, when you say organizational growth, I see it with two lenses. One is how our customers, because all of us here are mostly providing services to a multiple set of customers who are in different industries. So, what's applicable in industry A is not applicable to industry B. So they're different, but there's a cross-industry view which is coming in. I can share that, and maybe one last point. So I'll share two in terms of, what I'm seeing for the clients. One, what's more relevant for us as service providers. So one experience, what I'm seeing in terms of the entire customer experience process. And again, while it's not that AI has started the revolution much earlier before COVID, So while there's a joke that who started the transformation, is it COVID or the CEO or CTO? I would say all these have been there, but there has been a major acceleration in terms of the whole AI-based model. And let me start with one of the areas that we specialize in, customer experience, right? You can now no longer visit something, or you cannot visit an office. You cannot even if you call, there may be a long wait time. You may not have an agent available. So how AI has come in is to how do we really do all these things on a virtual mode, and using, when I say application of AI tool assistants and chatbots and things like that. So customer experience across industries, be it a bank, be it insurance. We have got utility companies where we've deployed, a voice assistant and virtual assistant. So that's ensuring that customer experience for the clients, have gone up or have switched to a more digital omnichannel experience. And that has led to, I would say, passive way of getting more customers, because if there are two competing businesses and one providing a seamless service, another one, when you call their call center or call their email them, nobody answers, obviously, you'll have some kind of a switch. So one aspect I would say is the entire customer experience that gets delivered using AI on digital channels, including chatbots and virtual assistants and things like that. So that's one. Second one, which again, has got accelerated now. See, in this whole process, it's not easy to acquire a new customer, right? Your traditional channels of getting out to a new customer and, starting a new process is difficult, right? So earlier you could reach out in different ways, maybe a print media, maybe a in-person meetings. Let's talk about insurance, right? Which is one of the largest verticals for us. Now you had a lot of intermediaries who would go and meet and explain. Now you are not able to do all that, right? So how you're able to do that again using AI? And when I say AI, multiple technologies. One is how do you target the customers, right? There are multiple clients of ours who, there are multiple groups who are having different clients. For example, in insurance, we have got a set of clients who are in life and annuity, and another one is property and casualty, right? The kind of cross sell you can do. So all I'm saying, based on AI, if you can churn out a predictive model telling that these are the segments of customers that I should go after, and we have worked with some of our customers for doing that, and that has resulted in a yield or better customer acquisition, even in completely on a digital mode, right? And that's the industry example that I wanted to share. And finally, from a service provider point of view, a lot of work that we have been doing, and Swapna talked about one example about invoice processing earlier. See, again, one trend had started earlier which has not taken up, and particularly in, I would say, the BPM industry, of course, relevant for the core technology services also. And I've actually personally spent time in both the worlds. In fact, I spent 2 decades in core technology services before coming into enabling BPM. The models traditionally have been FT driven, that how many people you're having, and it's more of a cost arbitrage and more of a process arbitrage. Now AI based engines and rule based engines are allowing us to make sure that if you think of a fast pass yield of 60-70%, which is kind of auto process, you can set rules. Say you're settling claims, you can set a rule that, okay, if these 5 things match, claim is below a certain amount, a particular profile of customer, go ahead and pay. You don't really need anybody to look at it. And again, RPA is one of the components, but there are a lot of other rule-driven engines and cognitive engines who actually help you improve that. Now, does that take your workforce away? No, and of course, we'll look forward to talk about the workforce also. But then you can focus your workforce on doing maybe what's coming in second pass, or what's probably of a higher value or more complex stuff. But use AI, and that results in in terms of enabling us as a group to offer things as a service. I'm sure all of you would agree that we are able to probably offer more things as a service now, which used to be a much more project and much more fixed price and or capacity driven. And that has actually, you'd see almost everybody has reported a growth in numbers, right? Or what was feared to be a much lower than last year has been up. So I think what's changing is it's no longer a game in terms of how many people, but it's about how you are driving growth using as a service, as a model. So those would be my three initial points, Rudra.